Is a book review of Sif Journey into Mystery, the complete collection. This is from Marvel Comics, came out in 2017. There's 248 pages, predominantly in colour. There's a few black and white items. There's some bonus items at the back. And the comics that were collected was Sif issue 1 and Journey into Mystery bracket 2011 bracket 646 to 655. It was written by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Catherine Momenman. My apologies for saying her name completely wrong. Illustrated by Ryan Stegman, Valerio Schettiti and Pepe Larraz. Again, my apologies if I've got their names totally wrong. I'm not very good with saying people's names. However, you've got some ads at the front, and you've got, I'll turn around and say it's colour. The first page, basically it's black and white. You've got Sif, Journey into Mystery. And I've always enjoyed the Sif character, obviously from Thor and Journey into Mystery. Now, I'm not certain which issue was her first appearance. I think it was more during the period of Thor. I don't think it was Journey into Mystery, nor was there particularly a vast amount. She appeared on and off over quite a long period of time. There was lots of, obviously, relationship with Beta Bill Ray, and which is featured in here as well, which is very nice. So you've got some great stories here. So I'm just going to run. Sif was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, it says here. Obviously, lots of other people were involved at letterers, like VC's Clayton Cowles and Joe Sabino. Starts with her in the bath. You can't beat the story with, obviously, the character sitting in the bath, pondering the world, and, well, she's in a slightly unusual situation in this story. There's Asgardia. There's not like Asgard. It's sort of stuck in this sort of town that's got lots of characters who she goes to a bar a lot. There's lots of scenes with a bar. And she's, as I said, a fierce warrior. And she spends a lot of time getting very angry at people. There's obviously a scene where she hurtles towards her landlady. So it's quite dark, but it's not too dark. It's not like some comics where you really get the dark. The colouring, I think, is quite nice. The inking is very good. I think it's very quality. And you got good old Beta Ray Bill turns up. And people of Broxton, my name is Beta Ray Bill, and I come in search of the mighty Thor. Well, he obviously ends up with Sif instead. So that's the premise of the story. And that's really, really good. You got obviously the ship, goes off to the ship, and you got Sif in a full warrior get-up. And I think it's just great. She's some really dramatic. I love that one. There, she's got like bang. You know the character is really not going to have much joy there after that. And she's basically fierce all the way through. There's a lot of anger, lots of humour. I think this is just one of the best books I've read for a long time. I actually genuinely, there wasn't a single bad story in this. And the depressing thing, and you can see by how thin why, I assume it was cancelled or something happened or whatever. I don't know what happened. It just, to me, this Sif series, Journey into Mystery, should have been a 500, 600 page special complete collection, volume 2, volume 3, etc. Because generally, I think these are just some great stories, great humour all the way through, action, just superb art as well. Just, I love, and also all the other characters. There's some great characters turn up in there. I mean, there's also, I love the bit with this Journey into Mystery. You've got Crag on there. Hold the face of Crag. Or Sprag. No, Sprag, isn't it? Not Crag. They had so many of those sort of characters. It could have been Crag as much as Sprag. Could any power on earth stop Sprag? And the kids looking at, obviously, Journey into Mystery comic. That was issue 68. So that's quite a... You've got all the kids there, and got the family of Volstagg. And the wife as well, obviously, there in the scene. It's all just very lovely scenes like that all the way through, as well as great with sort of various characters that turn up in the story. And she's sort of throwing her sword backwards and forwards all over the place. And the lettering is great as well. The lettering is very nicely done. I love that sort of lettering. Yeah, it's just, and you got Fandral turns up. Now, I've never been keen fan of Fandral, I have to say, but I do like good old, yeah, he's a great character. He sort of way he sits down, he's a bit like Falstaff character, this guy, isn't he? Just brilliant. However, you've also got Hemdall turns up as well. There's some really great use of panels. There's a great scene, as just quickly there, you can see a good old, I love that sort of like Bernie Krigstein would do, that sort of panel, breaking the panel up. Lots of, she's obviously tackling this, you've got splat, 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 all the way through it, and it's just so well done. Now, sometimes, of course, you get some of the little comics nowadays, you'd have like one, and they do, there's quite a few, there are a few pages where there's one whole scene over the whole page, but it actually works. Sometimes I get comics that I look at the panel and I think, why did the artist do that? What's the point? What was the point? Doesn't add anything to the story. It's just a big pin-up page, basically. That's my opinion. I'm certain people love those sort of pages, but however, but there are a few pages in here that really fills the entire page, and it works. Sometimes you get comics it doesn't work, and you think, oh, that's no. But there's a lovely one here with Spidey. There's a great Spider-Man's in the story as well. You've got this brilliant one. I love that story. You've got these other characters. She goes with some more fellow Asgardians, and they're just great characters. I don't know if they ever turned up again, whether they were regulars later on or whatever, but great characters. Just brilliant. Just fun comic. And that's what I love. That's what I want my comics to be. I want humour to be all the way through this. And this is just, for me, you just got like this wolf, and you've got characters. You've got this kid that he turned around and says, basically, can you deliver a message? And he says basically, maybe the Asgardians won't set you on fire, and maybe I won't tell your ma that he's sitting there, obviously in the bar, obviously not. He's just got obviously a coffee and lots of cream on top of it. But you've got this lovely scene when you've got the kid run. Just beautiful. Just beautiful bit of story. You've got fun characters. Even the characters who are really vicious and nasty are just great characters that you warm to. And that's a key thing. So this one, Journey in Mystery 651. It's got a lovely start sequence, a child's garden of verses. And I just think that's beautiful. Very wordy. You've got a lovely wordy scene there with Volstagg again. And he's just absolutely brilliant. Classic stuff. Actually, I love, there's a great scene here. There's a scene just where goes into, I'm not going to say, but there are actually so many great scenes in this. It's just one of those, you've got characters all the way through it, lots of different characters. He's got this one. They go off and take on the wolf, and they're literally sort of like still in their bedclothes. It's like, we better go and deal with it because there's this. Someone's come along and said, we've got to go and do something. Just brilliant, just fun stories. You also got great. You've got Sif sitting in obviously with Jane Foster. Just superb. Now, I'm not a mega fan of Jane Foster, I had to say, in the earlier comics, Journey in Mystery back in the 60s, but the storylines that I've seen with Jane Foster, just great, absolutely brilliant. And then you got some more interstellar comic stories later. I'm not going to say what happens in the story. Actually, I'm not going to say really what happens. To be honest, it's one of those books that you probably have to read a few times to work out all the twists and turns, because it is a bit all over the place, I have to say, plot-wise and story. And it's maybe, I don't know, maybe you might look at it and think, the stories are quite simple and I know exactly where that's all going, where the plot's going and all that sort of stuff. But I have to say, I did have to read them a few times, go over it. I think, I wonder what was that for? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? That's no problem. I have no problem with that. I don't mind. I do that with normal books. That's terrible, isn't it? Just a normal book, but a long novel or something. You sit there and you think, And then you go back. I make little notes on my books. And I think, that character. What was that character? That was that. That was that. So the same with comic books. I love that actually, and there's some great dramatic scenes here. There's a real brilliant scene at the back, last set of comics, with, like I say, the ship and everything else. That's just classic. Again, some absolute brilliant fun bits. Actually, some of the scenes one scene here, which I'm not going to say, but it was just I thought that's near enough like bit how I would react at a certain scene. It's just, that's the thing. There's just great scenes all the way through. Fun comic, brilliant romance, love, horror, terror, action, drama all the way through. What more can you want from a book? This is just an absolute thing, and it's a crime that it was so thin. It would have been so, this series should have continued. Sif should definitely have her own series, and obviously more comics. That's really sad that they didn't continue on. You've also got the character sketches at the back. You've also got a letter page from 649, as well as the farewell. And even the farewell has a sense of humour in it. We've got Nelson and Murdoch turned up in the thing as well. So that's just great. And then you've got some adverts for Thor books. And that's that. Well, this is just brilliant. This is one of the best complete collections. Totally recommend it. I just love this book. So SIF, Journey into Mystery, the complete collection.